Hello and welcome back to another painting video. Today we're going to be painting this M4 Sherman Easy 8 from Bolt Action. And if you remember last week we painted the Chaffee tank and it ended up being like too green, not the kind of right green that we want. And if you look at the notes of that channel, I say to use a different color, which is this US olive drab, so you'll be able to follow the steps of this video to paint any of your American tanks. I repainted the Chaffee, so you can see here, so like it was more this green or this green before. You still see kind of some of it bleeding through, but this is much more, or like that green, this is a much more World War II American green. So yeah, and I also drilled in a hole for the 30 caliber up front. And I tried to switch this up to a different 50, like the one that's on this, but it looked weird, so. But yeah, so let's get to painting this tank. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off and this is a plastic model, it's not a resin model, so it's already a step ahead of the other one. So we're gonna start with this US olive drab color, and this is the color for the tank. It's weird because I had a tank that was this color before, and I don't know how I got it this color, and because I had another Sherman, but I think it's because I might have had spray paint that was the olive color. So yeah, so we're just gonna kind of follow the same kind of steps. Like we're gonna take a dry brush, but it's heavy, so it's not like we're actually dry brushing. I'll probably have to do a couple coats on this guy. So let's get going here. We have a lot of stowage on this too, and some other neat little things that we're gonna have to navigate as we go through this. And also how I did the dirt last time, the mud and stuff, it's a little amateur. I think I have a better way to do it that I think you guys will appreciate more too. So this is kind of dirtily get this on there. Try not to snap the gun in the front there. Just be very careful around some of these more small parts. I'm trying to avoid like the wood and stuff right now, just because, but you know, it's a kind of inaccurate method of painting right here. You could totally go in with a brush and just brush paint this on if you wanted to, but you know, it doesn't have to be the prettiest thing in the world. It is a tank, it is World War II, so you know, it's probably seen some action. Probably not a whole lot of action, but I mean, it's possible that it saw a lot of action, but you know, Shermans don't really last that long. I mean, the later versions are a little bit better with the cannons on them, but the armor is still not going to do much against German cannons on their tanks. But you know, we try. We can outnumber them. We can swarm them. You can also do this with an airbrush. It'll go a lot faster, but not everybody has an airbrush, so just kind of get the bottom a little bit. You don't have to go too much in there. And then we'll just kind of go back over the top, get a little bit more even coating, try to keep the brush strokes going in one direction. That way to avoid seeing the brush strokes too much on the model. You know, when it starts tearing like that, that just means it's still drying or like half dry. So just leave it alone and let it dry, and then you'll get it later. And this way we're just not getting super deep into some of the areas and keeping it pretty gnarly of a tank. Okay, now we can go here, get all the wheels and bits in here. The tracks on this were a pain to put together. Like you can see, it's off here and then off here. Building this was not fun. Like that's one thing I don't like about building like plastic tanks like this, is because the treads are just, they never seem to go together right. And I'm not like an inexperienced model builder. I build lots of models. But it's just, you know, not very great. But the chaffee was just one piece resin, so that was really easy to put together. Just kind of, now we can probably go over that area here. Cool. So we'll let that dry while we get the turret here. Going through a lot more paint than I thought we would. So again, you can see like all the streaks and stuff on here. We're definitely gonna have to do multiple coats, which is fine. Just get a nice base coat on here. And go to the front. Do the same. Sorry if I pull it out of frame, it's just a little This turret was weird too to put together, like this so it moves up and down. It was like 4 different pieces and it had to like slot into areas. It was not very fun. Now when we paint our Lehman Russ, that was a tank that went together pretty easy. But again, they have kind of a lot of experience putting models together. I mean, this is not like, who made this? I think it's, I don't know, usually like Italeri or whatever makes the models for this. I don't think this one is from them though. This one just might be from Warlord itself. The base might be from another tank model. Who knows? And also, who cares? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of a slap chop for the wood on this model. So what that is it's a black base, which, I mean, we can kind of ignore that it's not totally black because of the green that we did. But then we're gonna take a medium sea gray here and we're gonna dry brush that over the top of all the wood on this thing while this is drying. Like, don't worry, we're not done coating that yet because it's definitely needs work. So get some gray on your brush, wipe most of it off, and then just kind of come in and get the gray on the wood here. Same thing on this side. You'll see it's kind of picking out the high spots. You just want to kind of go down against the grain to get it to pop out. So let's do that. I don't think there's any more wood here. And then we take a white paint and do the same thing but just a little bit less heavy-handed. Let's get a new paper towel here to wipe my stuff off with, because it's kind of, that one's really dirty. I also need to reload my wet palette at some point, but here we are. Okay, so we'll get our matte white, or any white. It doesn't have to be this one. Just put a little bit down, and then get some on your brush. And we want even less of this on our brush than we had the gray. You can't really see it, like how much I'm wiping off, so I'm kind of have to eyeball this a little bit, and we're just gonna kind of go from the top and kind of avoid like that last log there. Because we want like high points here. Same thing here, just kind of hit that. You can see that some of the paint is being weird in there, kind of pooling. We don't want that, so we'll just kind of clean it out with the brush right there. So while that's drying, we can go back to our cannon here. And then just kind of go over the rest of it with a more fuller brush. Ooh, it's lightning outside. Don't know if my power will get knocked out. Hope it doesn't. I mean, I always say that when lightning happens, and that happened a lot in the 90s. In the 90s, the 1990s. I don't know how often it happens nowadays, but I guess we'll find out, right? I would hope it's not as often. So let's go like that. Get all the little curves and stuff here. The barrel's probably fine. And then I'll just get the little mount that's on the 50 here. Cool. So that's done. So now we can put this back on. I like to have them separate just for the initial painting. And then for the rest, I like to have it on just to get a holistic look of the thing. Okay, so for the, we're looking for some paint. Hold on, please stand by. So for the paint here, the wood, we're gonna use a contrast paint from Games Workshop called Wildwood. It's a nice naturalistic, oh, you know what? I take that back for a second, because there's wood here I forgot that we had. So we kind of need to woodify this guy a little bit too, huh? Let's get our white. Here we go. So now we're getting our wildwood paint. And we're gonna get all the wood with this. So we're gonna take our brush here and just kind of put it over the wood here and let it kind of soak in and do its job, because it'll dry semi-transparent and it'll be good for the end here. Let's get this little box as well here. Turn it around, get this guy. And it goes over most, it doesn't have to be white and gray, it goes over any like lighter color. It will tint those. So if you wanted to play around with some colors, you could totally do that. I've done like, put it over like a metallic color as well. It kind of just makes it like a metallic-y, like whatever color you use for the contrast paint. There's lots of colors. So there's our wood done. Let's get a clean up in there. For our wooden armor to protect us from bullets, because it's super effective. So now we're going to take our brush and start doing these little stowage bags that we got here. I think we're gonna do some, where is it, some US Field Drab for a couple of them. It's starting to come down pretty hard. Cool. So let's get, I wonder if that's coming through on the microphone, if you guys can hear even just the rain falling. So there's one, and let's get this one just to kind of uneven it a little bit. Okay. Then we're gonna get like a foresty green, which we'll just use this uniform green. For this other bag that's on the back here. This is very green, but we will be washing this with like a brown wash, so it'll take it down a little bit. But yeah, that's very green. And then we got some stuff here in the back too, so we're gonna get things like these, oops, just get that off there with my finger. So we're gonna get these like little fuel cans and what were those? Were those canteens? I don't remember what, I think there's bags actually. And we're gonna use sick green to kind of give us a color that we want here. Actually, no, I think we used the Luftwaffe camo green for this stuff on the M24, so we'll just kind of continue those colors. So just hit your fuel tanks here. Get these guys all colored out there. And then also we want to get the ammo box here. Make that extra green. Okay, and then we can go back to that uniform green color that we had down to get these. Actually, we can go to the tan for the backpacks. I think that the backpacks are mostly tan. So you can see this US Field Drab tan color here. On there, you just kind of get a light coat. You don't need to do like crazy, it's just on the back of a thing. Okay, now we got all these tools. So for those, we use a leather brown for the handles and stuff. So let's get that down. Get a nice fine brush. Or as fine as we can find anyway. I have a better brush I have better brushes than this. What am I doing? What am I doing? We'll take our 00. And then we'll start getting these guys. I think this is one at the top here. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, and then we got these guys over here. Got our axe. This is a pick. That's a pick, top of a pick. And then we got, this is the handle, I think, of the pick right here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to all these little straps and stuff. We're gonna hit those with this as well. Just to add variety and some visual interest. It doesn't have to be perfect because the wash is gonna fill in a lot of space, so you just kind of want to give it a nice little cover just in case. Now we can pick it up and do the sides here. Get those. Let's say we could get the ones on the wood as well, but we'll probably use the uniform tan just because it is a lighter color, and the darker color probably won't show up as good against the darkness of the tank here. I mean of the wood. Okay. We got the front as well here. This might have been metal, like because this is like a railroad tie or something, but it works. Cool. Now let's get our gunmetal for the metallics. Not too many that we're going to be getting. I mean, if we want to put some wear and tear and some stuff, you certainly can, but I'm gonna get this little guy here. I'll probably get like some of this like tow hitch piece too, just like to make it look a little bit more worn. Get the top of that, and then we can get the tools. That. Get the little handle here. Get the, these are like slots inside the tank too, so you can avoid those. Let's do something like that. Maybe put a little wear there, and like maybe some there, maybe some there. We can also do get a little dry brush here, put that on it, and get some of the treads and a little bit of like the front of the thing. We can kind of get in here a little bit, just to make it a little bit more metal, even if it wasn't, you know, like even if it wasn't like fully on like that. Brush the grates over there. Do a little bit over the 50 just to weather it a little bit. And then the mud. So what we could do for mud is we can take a sponge, because I forgot I had those. If I can find it. I just bought like a bunch of, like a 3-pack of sponges at Daiso for like $1. And you just tear little pieces of it off when you need to use it. And it's pretty good. Good for you. I say this every time, but I'm gonna put this where I can get it better. Put one. So I just the cave in of models. Model boxes just fell over. So I just have like a sponge here and just take it, and this is like different density foams, so I'm just gonna take some of this like white one off the bottom here. Just rip off a piece, like a little corner. Like that. Pick up this stuff like quick that fell. So I just got a flash flood warning. That was cool. And stopped my recording. It's fine. We should be okay here. So I'm gonna take this whole red and use this for the mud. Now that we have our sponge, we'll just take it and dip it into the paint there. And we can just take it and speckle it on the front of the tank, on the sides. It'll give us like a nice random pattern. So this is giving us little splashes. And there, so you just have like a little bit of a splash pattern on here. And then that's all like the work done. So now we can just wash it. So we're gonna take our Agrex Earthshade. It's a nice brown wash, and we're gonna take it over the model. So probably easiest to start from the top and work your way down. So just kind of get it all up on there. You can be as heavy or as light with this as you want. You can skip it altogether, but It does darken your colors a bit. Makes them look a little bit more dirty and worn and all that. You just try to avoid the the pooling of it and stuff in certain areas. I'm gonna leave it off the barrel for now so I can use the barrel to handle the model. So then let's kind of take it and work in little areas at a time here. And it's really important that you make sure your model's pretty dry at this stage, because if you do it with wet paint, it's gonna smear that paint around too, and if you have multicolors, it's gonna pull them into other areas that you don't want. It's gonna pull that color into areas, like at this tan, if that wasn't dry, it would be putting tan all over this model. We don't want that. You can see there's bubbles and stuff too, and that'll mostly go away, but you just kind of want to fiddle with it a little bit with the brush to make sure you get it out of those areas where it's too bubbly. So we'll take this here really quick. We'll do that. We'll get all of this. You can avoid the brown if you want to, because it's already been washed with the wash that with the contrast paint. So I went into that red area that we did with for the mud, so I just kind of quickly wiped my brush off to make sure that it wasn't gonna bring that red color throughout the model. So you just wanna kind of just doing a swipe over the top of the model, make sure that it's not pooling. You can dab off your brush and just kind of go back in those areas and grab those areas where it's like deciding to pool up and stuff like that. I'm gonna get the bags and stuff on here. Now you can kind of grab the side here and just dirtily get these guys. It's not as important because it's so far into the model you can't really see, but we do it anyway. And then just go back to where you had your fingers and just make sure you touch those areas again. Oops. And then we'll get our barrel just to even out the colors between everything. Make sure that they're all consistent. Get in the little nooks and crannies there of the barrel. Kind of gonna tilt it up a little bit just in case it decides to dry hard so it can't really be moved anymore. But yeah, so the final touch is going to be just taking our black paint and just getting that little machine gun in the front, and that'll be done. You could also have painted the machine gun first, it doesn't matter. The wash isn't gonna really take to it anyway, so it's not gonna do anything to the color black because it's too dark. But just grab it, make sure you get all around it. And there we have our Sherman. The last step's gonna be to do the decals and everything, but this has to totally dry before we do any of that. But here, I'll get this down here so I don't have to handle this. But as always, thank you for watching. There's a string on here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And then we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.